my whole life I always loved Dwayne Allman, and anytime I started messing with one of these, I would just throw the damn thing across the room because it was just like the hardest damn thing, and I just sounded like shit. And I finally was like, no, I'm going to dedicate some time to this. At this time, I was pretty comfortable. Like, I'd gotten to the point where I could get through a whole night and pretty much kind of, I felt really comfortable in what I was doing. And, people who would come see that band would be coming to see some, rodeo, jump through the hoops kind of guitarist. And I was doing my best to satiate that, and was feeling pretty confident in what I'd worked hard to kind of get comfortable with. And so interjecting this into the equation, interjecting the slide into the equation, meant that now I was open to ridicule from anyone and everyone that was going to see me do this. But I also recognized that that was the only way that I was going to get decent at this, that I would have to fail in front of people. For me, the hardest thing with slide was getting to the point where I could play something on the high E and it not go crazy. Because for me, at least in the beginning, the middle of the fretboard, as it were, was not that bad. I could seemingly get it. I mean, not that good, obviously, but my point being is that in the beginning I was almost terrified to go to the high E because it was where I'd always plink, And all I can say is all of a sudden one day, I could do it. And I was like, how did that happen? And I don't know how it happened. It just happened. One day, all of a sudden, one day I could do it. And I think that's kind of like anything, that you just have to stick with something and work on it long enough, and then all of a sudden, one day you can do it. But then the funny thing was I wouldn't stop doing it that day, because I was afraid if I stopped doing it, I wouldn't be able to do it again. The whole goal for me was I wanted to be able to reach in my pocket and put a slide on at any time and be able to play it if I want. I wanted it like a pedal on the floor. I wanted it as an option. So I chose to focus on playing in standard. I can play in other tunings, but 100% of the time I play in standard because it's just, I play the guitar I'm playing. When you're playing in standard, you have you have the same options that you have when you don't have a slide on your hand. But the thing is that obviously you've got little shapes you can use to make it sound like you're in a tuning. Most notably you've got clusters of two notes, like if you're in the key of A, you can play those two and you're insinuating a chord, or you can play the top two, or you can go up to the octave here and play the triad. And that's all in the key of A, obviously. So you got this box, knowing your inversions going up and down. But if you're playing major, obviously you can do things like obviously stating that major third kind of all over the place, which is, when I think of like Derek Trucks, Derek Trucks is, he kind of, even though he does play minor sometimes, he to me, he's the consummate major tonality slide player of all time, and he does that better than anybody. Now, someone like Dwayne Allman was thinking more conceptually from a place of a harmonica player. My favorite is the where he's pulling down from a 5. I'm in the key of C now. So that's your 5, and so he would, and I'm cheating because Dwayne was usually in open E tuning. So he would, I can kind of get it, but I'm just kind of muting where it would resolve to the major or minor third, as it were, and I'm just kind of focusing on the B string where I'm, which is a way that I'm kind of cheating because I'm not in an open tuning, as it were. I'm just not fretting the note that's going to sound wrong, which just comes in handy. And then the one thing that he did all the time that he was great at, which is a beautiful move and takes a while to kind of get the hang of where you're going to fret it correctly because there's a bit of muscle memory involved. The thing that really gets me going with slide is that kind of that funky, that it's a little sloppy, it's a little weird, you know. I started playing at 4, like I said, and you know, I was 24, 25 when I finally decided I was going to take this seriously, and this kind of opened up, you know, what I do within our group now. You know, this is almost 50% of what I do in this in our band, you know, and I've been playing that long, and I was afraid of it, and I had every reason to be, but I was afraid of it, and it opened up and it gave me a new voice, you know.